Hey, what's going on, guys? This is Anthony with themovieblog.com. I'm back here with a new video. This one I'm going to actually just run through some of the recent short films I've been taking a look at from the South by Southwest Film Festival. Now, short films, normally we do give them their own review. Because I have so many of them, what I'm going to do is I'm going to combine them in this one video, but I'm going to break them out into sections. Bruiser stars J.D. Williams and Noble Be Witted. Now, these two play a father and son duo in a beautiful short film that shows a young son learning from his father's violent tendencies. Now, it's a nice little short film that follows around the two. I don't want to give away everything in it, but follows the two around as father and son are out at a bowling alley. And dad sees that some of the son's friends from school are there at a birthday party that his son wasn't invited to. Now, it's because of dad's reputation that his son wasn't invited to the event. So he goes over to the dad of the kid's party and, tries to get his kid to be able to participate. And then unfortunately, a violent confrontation occurs. This spins into his son watching him and him learning from his father how to express his anger in bad ways. And we see a nice poignant tale where we watch his son try to reflect some of the things he's learned from his father, but not do so successfully, not be as successful as his father. Almost like looking at The Lion King when Simba tried to roar like his dad. It just didn't have the same effect. I like the way that they used imagery in this film. I like the 4:3 aspect ratio. I really like the acting from young Noble Be Witted. This young man really gave us a nice little quiet but powerful performance. I really enjoyed that. Click right down below if you want to see my full review, where you're going to find my review score for this film. Next film I'm just going to touch on real quick is Wiggle Room. Wiggle Room is directed by Julia Bayliss and is starring Deanna Gibson, Sam Stillman, Vilma Donovan, Julian Klepper, Kyla Collins. Hope I got everybody. Oh, and it's directed by Sam Guest. So Wiggle Room was a interesting little story about a woman who is approaching or confronting the insurance company that owes her money for some work that she got insured for, right? She had an access ramp built into her. She's a handicapped woman. She needs to have access to an access ramp, and her insurance company is just like stiffing her on the payment. So she goes to approach them about it. It's a cool little story about irony and things like that. But I gotta tell you, this one didn't really do it for me. I was kind of watching it and I kind of get that dry, low-key humor, and I get that style of humor. It's just not the kind of things that I typically find funny. I did think there was a lot of good detail in the setting and the environment, but I didn't really like the plot or the dialogue. I did like the use of color, and I did like some of the themes that were trying to be conveyed. Again, this one just wasn't for me. But if you are interested, I did score this film. Feel free to click on the link right down here below, and you'll be able to see the full review and the score. Next film I want to talk about is The Other Morgan. So this film is a film that's written, starring, and directed by Allison Rich. Now, this particular film, I got to tell you, this one does seem like more of a complete package. I did feel like I was watching a TV pilot instead of watching like a short film while watching this. This one seems like ready to go. This film about The Other Morgan is when a young woman goes to visit her father in a hospital. Something horrible happened, and when she's there, she finds out that her father actually had a whole nother family, and they're there at his bedside visiting him. And the ironic part is that in the other family, he named the kids the same thing that he did in this family. And there's this cool little dichotomy between which family was successful and which one went on in another direction, or what defines success. I really like this story in that it does try to explore those things about self-satisfaction and defining what is success for other people. Am I happy in my career, or am I making a lot of money? It's those kind of things that I do find interesting. Really reminded me of The Incredible Kimmy Schmidt, because Allison Rich really brought it with regard to her performance. She like really committed to the characters, like one of those little quirky slapstick characters, but she really did it good. She actually did a good job at it. I really liked what she presented as far as like some of the dialogue. I just didn't find it funny. It's not that kind of stuff for me. But I could see something like this on like TV or as a web series, definitely, for sure. I definitely expect to see more of her. Again, I found that the main actress had really good comedic range. She played more than one role in the story, which was kind of cool, I think, anyway. I think it had really creative writing. I think it had really smart dialogue. Again, it just wasn't for me, but I see this kind of humor a lot. You know, I think there is an audience for it, so I definitely think it's going to be successful. Now, the next film from the South by Southwest Film Festival I want to talk about is this short film called Play It Safe. Now, Play It Safe is a really cool, interesting story where a young man is, you know, a young black man in an all-white school or an environment. And he's dealing with like some of the day-to-day questions or situations or scenarios that he finds himself in when dealing with people who don't know how to interact with him, or at least are just racially insensitive towards their interaction with him. This film is directed by Mitch Kalisa. It's starring Jonathan Ajayi, Heather Alexander, Kate Ovenden, Charlie O'Connor, Lewis Richards, Grace Daly, Lauren Raisbeck, and Emily Seal Jones. Now, I really like what the director did with this film. Now, I don't want to take away anything from the acting, because the acting is phenomenal. The acting is actually really good. Jonathan Ajayi did an amazing job delivering this cool physical performance where he, at the end of in the second act of the film, that's just, it's going to drop your jaw on the floor. But the direction also accentuates it, so it just makes everything seem so much more. Now, the reason I wanted to emphasize the direction, the cinematography, things like that over the acting is because there are moments in the first act, or say first half of the film, where the acting just fell a bit flat. There were themes that were conveyed well, there were ideas that were just, you know, talked about or whatever being delivered. It's just that they just weren't interesting, and for whatever reason. It wasn't until there was this big scene in the second act where the students are challenged to do these physical performances, and it just ramps it up to another notch. I really enjoyed the setup of that moment, because those moments where, even though it wasn't delivering really well as far as how they were presenting it, it did satisfy that need of having something to refer back to when it was time for that big payoff moment. Now, again, I don't want to spoil anything, but if you see the film, it's a short film, make sure you catch it, come back to this review. You're going to see exactly what I'm talking about, and I want to see what you guys think in the comments. Play It Safe was a really good film. Jonathan Ajayi, our director, Mitch Kalisa, really did a fantastic job. Really hats off to my guys. I really like this one. Now, the last film I want to talk about, this film, Squeegee. You know, it's a weird mix of hilarious and erotic that I don't think we get to see explored enough on television or in film. The premise is just silly. The premise is just ridiculous, but the director and the writers know how to make it work. The performances by the principal actors are clutch. They're just so believable. They're just so committed. They're just so into it. They just really knocked it out the park with their performances in this movie. I really enjoyed how much they were able to get into it. And I got to admit, like, my favorite scene was probably the pullouts. The pullout shot when we see the exterior of the building. It makes you think twice about the life of a window washer, but I don't fully understand the ending of the movie, but this is one of those movies where you enjoy the journey more than you enjoy the destination. This was a really cool movie, Squeegee Window Washer. It was really funny. I enjoyed it. It was the highlight of the short films that I checked out on day one. I'm going to check out a few more, and I'll come back with some more video reviews. Anyway, that's all I got for this one. Thanks for checking out this video review. If you like this video, make sure that you drop a like, and if you could, please make sure that you hit that subscribe button, and I'm going to drop some more in subsequent videos. That's all I got for now. I'm going to check you guys later. Peace.